I'm just thinking too, like how dangerous it is to mess with a marriage and to get involved with somebody who's in a marriage, because that, whether you realize it or not, like for the secular people that get married, like a
Yeah.
marriage is a covenant under God. I learned being the other woman. I was the other woman in my adulterous relationship, and he was married and had a wife. And I learned like
Yeah.
God was sending like the Egyptian plagues my way. Like I was seeing just like what that covenant means and the way he fights for it and protects it. And like nobody left that relationship unhurt. Like we all had scars from it. But I just really understood in that moment, like how much God upholds marriage. So it's a really dangerous thing to try to get in a relationship with somebody who is in that covenant with somebody else. So as much as like my heart hurts that like he got hurt, he was also playing with fire.
We both were.
You're both playing with fire. Yeah.
And like we both really like everybody was hurt in the situation.
Yeah.
And like it makes me feel like so sad too. I think of him now and I'm like, man, like we're back, together, like we're married again and our whole family's together and his isn't. And like it kills me. It hurts my heart.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's what happens though when we are in sin, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, we both were, right? It's like, ugh, it just hurts my heart for him.
Yeah.
And for what happened, everybody, his wife and just the whole situation, you know?
Yeah. I hope that there's redemption possible. There is redemption possible for him too. And I don't know, do you know if he's cried out to the Lord or no?
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Like I know that he attends a church with his new wife. So I know he's newly married,
Okay.
but we haven't heard from him in a couple of years. And so that's kind of hurtful a little too, because in my mind I really wanted us to like, in the perfect world, all of us kind of co-parent together. So
Yeah.
my daughter could know him as well. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's her dad.
Totally. But
So to
uh,
go back to your story, I kinda cut you off a little bit.
gosh, I don't even know where I left off. Let me think. Uh,
So you're the year of friendship.
oh yeah, I go into labor. So I have Jordan, my daughter, and that was really hard too because like I told you, I had that conversation, and so I went into labor right after the conversation. So I went to the hospital by myself because like I couldn't go back to her dad and say I'm in labor, come, because I had just told him I need time. And so I could not invite him back into this situation because if he was back in this situation, there was no way our marriage would work. No way. I know because of your emotions, right? My emotions were so tied to him. And then this new baby comes. And so this new family in a way. And it's like there was no way it would work. And so
Mhm.
I had to be so strong and not allow him to come back in. And then my actual husband, who I was divorcing, I couldn't, like, we were just newly talking and newly friends. I wasn't going to have him come. Like, it's just awkward. And,
Yeah.
so I went by myself. And that was a really hard labor. It was really hard.
Yeah.
So I had my beautiful daughter, and that year was just a beautiful year, very hard year, but very beautiful because the Lord really showed up in so many beautiful ways. And there was so much protection over my family. And just, it just shows when you put the Lord first, like he's gonna take care of you. Like the good things
Mhm.
gonna come of that always.
Yeah.
And I went to counseling every single week by myself. And then my husband also went to counseling. Like we were doing the right thing. We were going to church. We were reading the Bible together, praying together, still friends, but we really fell in love for the first time. Uh,
Mm.
and that was so beautiful and so something I wasn't expecting at all, to really have those feelings for him. Um,
Mhm.
it was just, it's all God because it was
Mhm.
almost impossible for me. I'm like, how am I going to get over this love that I felt so deeply and strongly, like he was my person? How am I going to get over that and then fall back in love with my husband who has hurt me so much? How am I going to heal past that,
Yeah.
And for me to have those romantic feelings for my husband and to fall in love with him was a miracle in itself.
That is a miracle.
I did not I didn't lose feelings for the other guy that easily. That took time. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna be so honest, like always. Like that took some time for me. It took a few years
Yeah.
where because when you're like in a sexual relationship with someone too, there's so many soul ties and things that connect you for life. And
Yeah.
so it's like it's something that is a real thing, and I didn't know about that at all, obviously, but that took a long time for me to get over.
And
You
I
know,
think that's something a lot of people won't talk about either, whether it was an adulterous relationship or a past relationship where soul ties were just made, getting over that other person,
yeah,
because I definitely struggled with that as well. I can relate to that so much. And I got married. I found my husband, like God sent my husband very quickly after um, I got out of this relationship and was coming to the Lord. Um, and so I was still in the middle of my healing and grieving. Like I hadn't fully gone through that. And I remember times crying to my husband that I still felt pain about that past relationship and feeling like a terrible person that I hadn't fully healed from that yet. Like, that's not fair to him.
yeah,
Um,
totally. Yeah,
yeah,
totally. I relate to that so much.
and nobody wants to talk about those things, like
I know, but the thing is like this is so true. It's like feelings are so temporary.
Mm,
What you focus on expands. So like if I were to focus on like this, other relationship, like of course that love would expand, that relationship would grow, right? But I
yeah,
wanted to water this one. And what you focus on expands and feelings go away. Which is why sometimes in marriage people are like, I don't feel sparks or butterflies anymore. And I'm like, so like that means absolutely nothing.
yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
so
choose.
normal.
Yeah, loving someone is a choice. It
Mhm,
has nothing to do with like how you feel at that moment
yeah,
because feelings lead you to destruction as well. I mean, sometimes I feel like cussing someone out because they're acting a fool, right? Like that's not
yeah,
cool. Like feelings will lead you to sin.
yeah,
Sometimes I feel like X, Y, and Z, like fill in the blank. Is that going to point you in the right direction? No, we have to listen to the Holy Spirit and
mhm,
deny our flesh. Your feelings are part of your flesh, right? And so it's like we have to fully like die to sin and
mhm.
choose to follow the Lord.